Sav and Moo, my favorite assistants. And we've been having a great time, you know, in the last month and a half, and we're coming up with some fantastic ideas on how to rehash a few very successful videos that I've had in the past. And one of them was, hey, Reese, how's it going? One of them is how to coordinate arm swing versus body turn. And you've heard and you've seen ad nauseum what flat swing planes are versus upright swing planes, two planes versus single plane. Yeah. There's a lot of planes out there. And so we want to demystify and make sure that you understand the purpose of what you're trying to do, because so many of you are out there looking for a position. Mm-hmm. And right out of the gate, I want to you know, reintroduce and reacquaint you with how you function on a daily basis. So Sav, if I were to take just a simple golf ball here, put your club on the ground, right? Put one in each hand. So let's say you get into your golf position and you want to toss the ball that you have in your left hand toward the camera, mm-hmm. and the ball in your right hand into that target. Mm-hmm. So don't toss them, but let me see you do how you would do this. So right now it feels like you can toss in each direction. Yeah. Now stop in either direction, but stop in your backswing or your follow through. So from here, doesn't this hand feel like you can throw that way? Yeah. And doesn't that hand feel like it just tossed that way? Yeah. Now go to your finish. Doesn't that hand feel like you just tossed that way? Mm-hmm. And this hand is ready to go back in the other direction. Mm-hmm. So those of you who want to try this, if you get in your golf position like Sav just did, and you just raise one arm and just let it fall in front of you. Just let it fall. So you notice the upper arm comes into collision with your upper rib cage very quickly. Mm-hmm. But if I were to say, take the ball in there and let it swing past you and into the target. So notice now her whole body just turned out of the way to allow the arm to swing freely towards the target. Mm-hmm. So a proper golf swing, whether a chip shot, a pitch shot, or a full swing, is simply one for you, one for you. And it's a full clearance in both directions. Now, if you take the club and let's say you're swinging towards the camera, okay?
I'm not actually going to hit it.
So what I want you to do is don't move your body at all and just bring your arms back. Don't move the body at all, right? So notice the upper arm is crashing into that rib cage because it's got no place to go. Yeah. And then notice the elbow appearing behind her right there. Yeah. There's that collapsed arm. Yeah. Right? So anytime you're trying to manipulate your arms into the backswing, what's going to happen is the brain does not have anything to react to anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because you're going place the arms, the brain goes, okay, freeze the body, don't move the body. Let's make sure we're able to get those arms back here. Yeah. And then what happens is the upper body no longer turns and the upper arm starts crashing into the rib cage, and now you have what we call a flat plane. In our book, it's a collapsed plane. Mm-hmm. So now show me your standard backswing now. So now look at where the arms are up here. The hands and arms are in front of the body. Hiya, Reese. What's going on, buddy? And then so you notice where the elbow is. It's got lots of space from the body. Now, if you were to throw your club toward the camera, dude, come on over here. Come on. There we go. So sit. Reese, sit. Good boy. So backswing. Now, if you were to throw that club in slow motion toward the camera, look where that is now. Look where her elbow is now. She has room in front of her body so that the arms can swing through and in your direction, right? So let's see you hit a couple of shots over here. Come on this side, you guys. You too, Reese.
Follow the leader.
All right. So do a full backswing and stop. Good. Now from there, do you feel like you could easily throw the club in the direction of your target? Mm-hmm. Go ahead. So notice the instant beeline toward the target. It's going to be important that we put that on slow motion, okay? So remind me to put that on slow motion after we can show you what it looks like in slow motion while we're explaining this. And watch how that kinetic chain engages in the downswing. So you got this club. Go ahead, go to the top again. And now we say, throw the club that way. Go ahead. Excellent. So your lower body engages naturally and pulls everything through. And because your arms aren't stuck behind you, go to the top of your backswing now. Okay, now if we take that and put it over here, and I say, throw the club to the target. That's not going to work very well, huh? You feel like something's sadly wrong and something's going to pop.
Yeah.
Something's going to go wrong. You just can't do what you can do. Go back to the top of the backswing again. And if it was too upright, could you throw to the target from there?
No.
Right?
No.
So you see the purpose of it, you guys. It's not about flat, upright, one plane, two plane. And you'll see Savannah through impact. You'll notice it looks like a single plane through impact. It's just the way her anatomy works.
Right.
If you look at Mo, short guy, long arms, he's going to be a lot closer to the look of a single plane. He's never been single plane his entire life. And he's all, during his competitive days, he had that overlapping grip. And if you watched him swinging toward the camera, like we just saw Sav, you would see a dual plane, if you will. And then because over here he was getting behind the shot, because he was behind it, it looked like his arm and his club looked like a single plane setup.
Right.
But that's just it is just very much a trick of the camera or the trick of the eye.
So you're not seeking out a certain plane. You shouldn't be seeking out a certain plane. It's what is going to allow you to go to your target.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So another very, very important task that we have, and Munashe, I want you to come in to demonstrate that. So you'll know if you're on the correct plane if you can cut grass in both directions.
Right.
So you remember in our last video, and we were doing that perpetual motion and sending the two tees to the target, right? So I want you to feel that you're cutting grass in both directions and really feeling a nice low cut of grass on each side of the golf ball. Okay. So let's see you do that. Look at that. All right, now, after you do, in your second swing, after you cut the grass going back, stop at the top of the backswing. Okay. Stop right there. Beautiful. So let's look at that plane for a second. Notice where his hands are, right? And you would say, oh, his hands are above his shoulder. Look at where his elbows are. So from there, you feel like you can cut grass. Yeah. You can cut grass right about there, right? Yeah. So if I were to do that, could you cut grass?
No, my balance is off.
And what about there?
No.
You'd basically cut your toenails off.
Yeah.
So where do you feel you need to be to cut grass? And notice how when you're doing it perpetually without stopping, and you're cutting grass in both directions, the nature of that repetitive motion, your brain goes, hey, I'm not cutting grass yet. Oh, I'm cutting grass now.
Just find the right spot.
Yeah, and then your central nervous system kind of refines itself.
That's right.
So let's see you do that one more time, and then we'll hit a shot.
Okay.
Wow, that looks good. Look at that. Notice where your club keeps passing in the same place?
Yeah, right here.
Fantastic. Set your club down on that line. Yeah. Bring that in. So now, if you feel like you're already in motion without stopping, can you feel your swing plane is already tracking nicely through there?
Yeah, I see it.
Good. Yeah. So let it cut through again. So there's no way that he could, you know, hit the ball relatively solid. I mean, you just hit that 169 carry with an 8-iron.
Yeah.
Notice how easy it is for Munache to get solid contact on that. So if we look at that, see, just a little bit toward the toe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But look at that, 1.6 down. You had a nice downward angle of attack.
Yeah.
You caught it nicely from the inside.
Yeah.
Okay? So those of you who are coming over the top, we'll have a nice video for you very, very soon on that. But this perpetual nature that you're doing, not only are you seeing where you're cutting grass, but aren't you seeing a nice arc at the same time?
I am. Yeah.
And notice you used to be a big slicer when we started out.
Big time. Yeah.
It came over the top and swung hard to the right. Oh, yeah. So sometimes when your hands released, you were deep into the right trees.
Right. Yeah.
Or you were banana slicing the driver to the left tree. So pulling the short irons and slicing the long clubs. That's what many of you are doing.
Yeah.
So when you do that perpetual motion and then you stick to the task of cutting grass, guess what this is? The dandelion, right?
Exactly.
There's a dandelion in disguise. There's a nice stem in that dandelion. And all we're doing is we're using the sole of the club to cut through that stem in a specific direction. Yeah. So if you do that perpetual motion one more time, I want you guys to observe the blur of the club as it's coming in. Look at that. There's no way that that's ever going to slice.
No.
So do you feel like you have everything you need to cut grass?
Yeah, everything's confirmed.
You're obviously doing that. Can you feel like you're already in motion cutting the grass?
Yeah.
And you're just going to keep it in that direction.
Yeah.
So were you?
Task was a little off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that takeaway like, Sav? Was it inside where it was supposed to be, or did it go a little outside?
I went a little bit outside, I think. I can't remember.
That's what typically happens to you, right?
Yeah.
I'll have to double check on the video.
So show me that blur. Now come to the ball.
Okay.
Just do a takeaway and stop. The first 2 feet.
Okay.
Did that match? Just the first 2 feet right here. There. Does that feel like you're cutting grass that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Do that again. You can cut grass that way.
Yeah.
Go to the top of your backswing and stop. Can you cut grass that way?
Yeah.
There's another way of being able to perform that task.
Right.
Okay? Go ahead. Cut grass that way. There we go.
Yeah.
So because you stayed with cutting grass that way, look at that
Get the whole.
flipping gorgeous draw that you just hit.
Yeah.
Wasn't that tremendous?
Yeah.
So now look at the angle of attack here. It's pretty flush with the ground, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a little bit up.
Okay.
But look at how you came 11 degrees from the inside.
Yeah, that was way better.
That was fantastic. So that started nicely to the left.
Yeah.
And because you had that clockwise spin on it,
Yeah.
it came back beautifully to the right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's a great miss.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great miss?
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And it was just, you know, that's your tendency with we did that video last week with the 2 T's.
Yeah.
And we're looking for that specific release. But as far as your task is concerned,
Yeah, it's good.
you did a fabulous job.
Yeah, it's sharpening. Thank you.
Sav, you have anything to add to that?
No.
So single plane versus two plane, that's gone.
Right.
And whatchamacallit, flat plane. Okay, this is what I wanted to finish with.
Yeah.
And so we have a video that's called the football drill, okay? So now I'll demonstrate this particular side of it.
Sure.
So last but not least, in order to confirm that you got the right swing plane, the key is to have clearance at all times. So if my arms are too close, if I get that collapse, notice where my elbow is, I got no room to go to the target and everything will have a tendency to release too soon. So if you look at that football drill video like we talked about, I have room for both elbows in front of me, still got room for both elbows, still have room for both elbows while performing that task. So I'm cutting grass in the direction right edge of that intermediate point. And there it is. Ball starts off nicely to the right, drawing back towards the green. And we look at, if we look at the numbers on that, I've got 500 revolutions back to the left. And so you notice how it's 10 degrees from the inside and it exits at 6 degrees. So it starts 6 degrees to the right and basically comes back to, I was 35 feet to the right side of the pin. So that's the flavor that we're looking for. So we'll just do one more to finish. I can cut grass in that direction, elbows are in front of me. I can cut grass in that direction, elbows are in front of me. If I don't move the body, if I'm too still, I get the collapse and I get the out of space look to it. So the key to any proper swing plane is to feel that you can accomplish your task with full clearance. If I'm too far, I'm going to fall on my face. If I'm too close, I got no room. Yep, I can perform that task in that direction without any issues. Started beautifully in that direction. Club face was a hair more closed than before, but I'll take that one. Mm-hmm. So 180 yards, 7-iron. And we look at, 1,300 spin, wasn't too bad. Again, 10 degrees from the inside, 90 miles per hour club speed. Munashe, now you're at 95 miles an hour with that 8-iron. Yeah. And that's no fun. Okay, and it's not fun to try and follow that action. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you next week.